Yeah, so we have a very, very special guest today. Crip Mac's mom. Mama Bear, I believe is what he calls you. How are you doing?
That's right. Mama Bear, I'm doing fantastic. Just rode my motorcycle over here to spend some time with you after a couple weeks of communicating and deciding to do this interview. But it's a great day to have a great day. Great day to have a great day.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get right into it. Let's get to know you a little bit,
Okay.
and where you grew up and what it was like for you.
All right. Well, I was born in Houston, Texas. My parents separated when I was 14 months of age, and my sister and myself we went to Pacoima. My mom moved us to California, and I grew up, Southern California, just 100% Black Valley girl, that kind of situation. And it was a great upbringing, Magic Mountain, all the beaches and mountains, Big Bear, great Christmases. Came from a very, very stable family at the core of it. Even though my parents were separated, my mom was with a very, very healthy man in our life, and it was a good time. Then we moved out to Carson and Torrance. Went to Stephen White Junior High School. Shout out Stephen White. And I was there from, I think, like 85 to 87, something like that. So I went from there to the Inland Empire. My mom heard about this fantastic place called Ontario, California. Didn't know there were going to be cows there, y'all. We showed up, and I could just smell the manure. And just the smell of the cows and Chino, and that's where we landed. And my mom was in another marriage that wasn't as healthy as the one prior. So, I dealt with some toxic parenting and step parents and abuse of sorts. And but I overcame those, and I cheerleaded in high school. I was sent to Europe to perform and get my education. So it's been a lot of great adventures growing up. Then boom, I have CMAC, 1993, and my life just changed completely.
Okay, were you already graduated from high school at this time?
Absolutely. Well, I went to Hastings in Houston, Texas, and I did some of the extra classes. I graduated a little bit before my graduating class because I went ahead and went with the GED and graduated earlier, or an early diploma, I guess you can say.
Okay, so you graduate, and not long after that, you have CMAC?
Absolutely. With a guy that I went to high school with, a guy that we weren't dating in high school, but after high school we connected, and, for whatever healthy or unhealthy reason, we were brought together one night magically. CMAC had been spawned. I shouldn't have said it that way, but whatever. The spawn of CMAC, he's an amazing guy. I'm so grateful for him.
Okay, and where were you living when this happened?
Rancho Cucamonga. Yeah, right out here, Rancho Cucamonga.
Okay, and at one point you guys moved to LA?
Well, then I moved to Texas. I take him with me, and he decides he wants to come back to California. So he gets on a Greyhound and he heads out. And he goes and checks out the hoods, and he's already, equipped with the communication. I think it was during MySpace, y'all. I think MySpace was big, and he was communicating with some people from the hood, and he really liked it, and he was wanting to pursue that. And it's like, I couldn't keep him from doing it. And I remember all I wanted for him, and I wished for him, was for him to join the military, because I knew how stubborn he was, and I knew how driven he could be. I mean, you see him feeding the homeless, spending his time and his money sleeping on an air mattress when he's making so much money, but he's giving it away. That's some powerful stuff.
Yeah, for real. You mentioned the military.
Yes.
He told me you sent him to military school.
He was sent to military school. Yes. He was out of control. We were living in Chino, and a lady in our complex said her son was having behavioral issues. And I identified with a lot of what she was saying. And I said, by God, I think that's Trevor. Little Trevor Hurd. That's his name. Everybody needs to know. Little Trevor needs help. And there's a school that's designed for that and for discipline. I mean, this kid was jumping out of the window, at 6 and 7 years of age, to go out and explore and come back. And I just we had to lock the windows, and I'm sure he felt like incarcerated, and I know that feeling. But he definitely needed some guidance, So we put him in military school, and they did drills, they did academics, they did PT. He was up early in the morning, and he was disciplined for about 14 months.
So he was there 14 months?
Yes.
You know what age he was from?
I want to say roughly 7 to 9.
Oh, young.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then at that point, that's when he moved to Texas. So I'm sorry, we did skip this point, and it is important. You know, he went to Newman Elementary School, and I would receive tons of calls daily. Just, you know, your son, he's not doing what, you know, we're asking him to do. He's doing just the opposite. So it's not that he's just not doing it. He's going to do the opposite. And that's oppositional defiance. That was a term that I learned very young on, and that he possibly had some, you know, emotional issues and stuff like that. So we tried to address that. We threw Ritalin at him. We threw Thoridazine, everything to try to get him regulated. So, and me being a young mom, that was very, very challenging. Very challenging on me.
So the military school didn't help him at all?
He got kicked out of military school. Kicked out of military school. They said, I'm sorry, we don't have anything else that we can offer your son at this time. You know, his behavior is too drastic. And I don't know where to point the finger or call the blame. I mean, you can go, is it a chemical thing? Is it hereditary? Is it lack of his father being there because he decided to walk out when he was 2 years old? I mean, but with all that being said, the bottom line was he needed help. He needed something, and it was something I wasn't able to give him. You know, he's got cousins. He's got cousins and family members who are members, you know, of subsequent gangs. And one that you may not know, he's got 2 Hoover cousins who he loves very much so. Imagine that, right?
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so I believe you had mentioned that he had a lot of love for music and movies growing up.
Oh yeah, Men in Black. Oh, I couldn't keep that song off. He knew the choreography for it. He said, "Mom, I wanted to be an actor like Will Smith." That's somebody that he really admired. And I think he commented on the slap with with Chris Rock, his opinion of it. But he stuck, you know, his loyalty was with Will Smith and acting and being an entertainer. I think that's what we see him mostly as an entertainer. You know, I run into people who, when I wear his merchandise and stuff, they know the little catchphrases. You know, just like, everything's going to see all right. You know, I put this on, they go, oh, that's that nigga C-Mac, you know, and I'm like, yeah, well, I'm Mama Bear. No way, you're Mama Bear. Absolutely. Oh, he's just doing so great, and we were backing him up, and we want to see this guy succeed. So much of the negative that you hear and read is outweighed by this positivity that people have for him and the love for him. I remember hearing stuff from Bloods and Hoover Street, you know, and they were positive things. And I was like, wow, is this a beginning of change? You know, but then it brings that into focus.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, you'd mentioned he has cousins.
Yep, cousins.
Who were involved in gangs. Do you think, is that what, like, kind of inspired him, you think? Or was he just, it's just something you think he just wanted to do?
No, he was definitely influenced by that. He always wanted to be the tough guy. He wanted to be the tallest, the biggest, you know, he wants to go hard. That's his thing. He's like, everything's intense. They would fight, you know, he would lose some, he would win some. Now, ironically, he's the biggest out of all of them. You know, he loves his cousin Knuckles. That's Jordan. Shout out to you. You know, it's just, you know, he grew into that whole tough man persona, and he created this character of C-Mac. It's just another portion of Trevor. It's just another facet of him. Whether you can call it schizophrenia or any type of multi-personality thing, it's working in his favor because he's very true to it. He's very true to 55th Street and that whole persona.